Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to look at how to set up a new phone. I have the S21 FE here. This is my Galaxy S9, which is great. I've used for years, but I finally cracked it after 4 years. It still works perfectly fine, but it could break and the screen could go out at any time, I guess, so I wanted a new phone. We'll be using this as a backup camera now. But let's go into a new phone. The settings I'm going to show you will work for basically any of the new Galaxy phones, even some of the older ones. Some of the menus might be slightly different, but you'll be able to figure it out. I'm going to show you how to optimize this for best performance / best battery life. It depends on what you want. Let's get into it. So to start, you're going to want to pull down your screen here, and you're going to want to go to Settings. In Settings, there's a lot of things we can do. We'll go through one by one and adjust things so you have the best battery life. Now, I set mine to dark mode. Anytime the screen is brighter, you're using more battery. Dark mode, it took me a minute, a day or two to kind of get used to, but now I like it, and you're going to use a little less battery if you set it to dark mode. Now, if you don't like dark mode all the time, you can turn it on to a schedule, and you can make it on and off from sunrise, sunset, or just whatever custom times you want. That'll help you save a little battery life. Adaptive brightness, some people really like. I don't use that. I'll show you how I adjust my brightness. This is said to be intelligent, and it'll adjust and it'll learn kind of how you work, but I leave that off and I adjust my brightness as I like. If you have one of the newer phones with a 120 Hz screen, there is an option to go down to standard 60 Hz on most phones, and that will give you better battery life. My S9 only had 60 Hz. It looked fine. I've left mine on 120 just because I want that extra speed, and it does look a little better when scrolling. But if you want the longest battery life, you can turn that down to standard. They have Eye Comfort Shield here. This isn't really a performance thing. This used to be called Blue Light Filter on the other phone, on the earlier phones. Now it's more like a yellow color. You can turn that on or off if you want at night. You can set schedules as well. Screen timeout. You're going to want to make sure this is set pretty much as low as you can set it for the best battery life. You can set it up really high. Sometimes I'll set mine high if I'm doing a video like this, or if I'm just using my phone a lot and I just don't want it to go off for some reason. But the lower you set this, the better it's going to be for battery life. So I usually, for everyday use, would suggest keeping it at 30 seconds. 15 is kind of way too short. It just turns off so quick it seems. 1 minute's fine too. But the lower you set that, the better your battery is going to be. You have easy mode here. This isn't a performance thing, but this is for easier viewing. It's going to make everything on the screen a little bigger, easier for older people or people that just want an easier to find buttons on the screen. Now your edge panel, I don't use this. This will help kind of your battery life a little bit because you're not running this in the background. There's a panel you can pull out from the edge and give you some apps and stuff. I just set up my home screen, so I keep that off. The navigation bar you can set up here for buttons, and that's how I've used it always, like on my S9, but you can set it to gestures. Now, I don't know the gestures good enough to use those. I'm pretty used to the buttons, so I do that. And you can also switch how your buttons are set up down here. I haven't had to do this, but there is touch sensitivity here. If you put a screen protector on, it's supposed to make it more sensitive. I put the screen protector on and I haven't had to change that. But now on my S9, I did have to turn that on, or I wasn't really able to use the phone good. It just didn't register touches. So if you are having a problem after putting on a screen protector, go into your display and turn on touch sensitivity. That'll make it so it works as it should again. On this particular phone, it's working without me having to do that. Let's go ahead down to the battery real quick. I got a few things I want to go over in there. So in battery here, we can go into power saving, and there's an always on display that kind of when you're charging, and and even if you're not charging, it'll show the time and things. I turn that off because if I want to see something, I just touch the side button and I can see that. I don't need that always on. You'll save a little bit of speed there. Limit your CPU speed to 70%. If you're not doing gaming and things, like I really just use the cameras and I don't really use games on my phone, you can turn that on, and again, you're going to get more battery time. You can decrease brightness by 10%. I leave that off because, again, I don't even mess with the brightness with the phone settings. I do it myself manually. And the always on display I do have turned off as well in the other menu I'll show you, so that it doesn't matter if I have that off or on in here. And then you have limit apps and home screen. This will make only the foreground apps run mostly. Anything in the background will kind of be shut off, again saving you battery life. So this is great. You could have this power saving just turned on almost all the time. You could turn it off if you're doing something power hungry like gaming, or maybe doing a high resolution video recording. Now in the more battery settings, you have a adaptive battery. It's good just to leave on. It's supposed to learn how you use the phone and help out, so I just leave that on. Enhanced processing. Now you could turn this on. I leave it off because again I don't do a lot of crazy stuff, but it says it doesn't even help in games, but it's supposed to make everything a little snappier at the cost of a tiny bit of battery life. But if you want it faster, go ahead and turn that on. Down here you want to have your fast charging on. I don't know why anyone would turn that off really. And then they have this option which is called Protect Battery, and what that does is only let your battery charge get up to 85%, and this stops there, so you never get to 100%. This is supposed to extend the life of your battery because the last 15% or so, it's the hardest on your battery to charge. The battery will get the hottest during those percentages, so this helps your battery last longer. I don't really know how needed that is. I turned it on just for fun. And I've never run out of battery even within a day just at 85%. Now again, I don't do a lot of games, but I don't run out of battery. But I don't know how needed that is because my S9 is 4 years old. I always charged it to 100% and its battery still works perfect. So, you know, if the battery lasts 5 years at least, I think that's good. But maybe with this I can make the battery last 7 years, so that'd be cool. Now in the settings, we're going to go to the advanced features. And in here, you want to change your side key. And it's going to be set to Bixby to begin with. I never used Bixby on my S9. I got that disabled, and then on my S21 here, you want to turn this to power off menu when you touch this side button. And then your double press, I like it to launch the camera. That's what most people like that to do. But normally when you press this, hold this side button, it's going to wake up Bixby. And nobody wants that, at least most people don't. So now when you press and hold the side button, it'll bring you to your power off menu, which is what I expect and want that button to do. Now back on the main screen, when you pull down, you're going to get your top menu here, and you're only going to get 6 items at top, and you're not going to have this light bar there either. I made sure that's on there. So you can pull down and then you can see all the apps, and you can hit more here and see even more. And you can go ahead and move these around and decide where you want everything to go. So we'll go up here to the 3 dots and we'll click Edit Buttons, and then now I can touch and hold and move things around, and you want your first 6 to be the ones that are going to show up when you pull down the screen here. Also, you're going to want to go to Quick Panel Layout, and you want your brightness control to show always. If you put show only when extended, you'll see that it's gone now, but it's still here when you pull it down. So if you only care about it when you pull it down, fine. But like I said, I like to mess with my brightness all the time, so I go ahead and make sure that is always on. And then anytime I want, I adjust my brightness myself. I don't worry about them doing it. And I keep it as low as I can for the best battery, as long as I can still see the screen good. But if I'm outside or I'm watching some videos, I can turn it up myself in a matter of a couple seconds or less. But again, you can pull down twice and it will be down there as well. And that about wraps it up for some quick tips and tricks just to make your phone set up as good as you can when you get it. Change around some settings and make it working how you want it to work for the best battery life and or the best performance. Have any questions, let me know. I'll see y'all later.